So Amazing Film Productions. That's sarcasm, right?
Do you think they were self-aware enough to believe that they weren't amazing? 1982.
I think the tongue might have been firmly planted in the cheek, yes.
Yeah, fine. The fine people of Baltimore Film Productions at Amazing Film Productions Co. Yeah.
Amazing Film Productions. Limited, I think it was. It's a limited liability
Oh, yeah.
corporation.
Okay, I do like that they use limited there. That does make it a bit more tongue-in-cheek, I'd say.
God damn. Welcome to Bad Movies and Beer. I'm Cooper.
And I'm Nolan.
And today, by special request, we are discussing Night Beast.
It is a night beast?
Yeah. We've had movies before where the title's been kind of misleading. I mean, in the defense of the alien creature that wreaks havoc on a rural Baltimore-area town, it crashes at night.
Yeah, it comes down at night. It's an alien, though, clearly from space, based on that sweet intro we're going to get into in a minute. Is it a beast?
Yeah, I was thinking that. It's not what I would consider. I hear beast and I think like fur and hair and... I mean, it's got claws and it's got a kind of feral nature, but it's also shooting a fucking laser gun all over the place. So.
Yeah, it's clearly running around on 2 feet. You're right.
It's not running anywhere. It is slowly... We don't even see it walking, do we? It kind of just glides.
Yeah, the movement's not great.
It's like if Mac and me grew up and became a scary killer of people.
Wow, did you just say that this is a follow-up to Mac and Me? This is killer.
Before Mac and Me. This is, yeah.
But that is hilarious to think that maybe the
producers of Mac and Me were like, what if that thing from Night Beast but small and cute?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
God damn. Well, as I mentioned, this was a special request, although... Funny story. This was requested so long ago. We're a little behind in the audience request that I went back trying to figure out who exactly had requested it because I put down the wrong Instagram handle, and we're not 100% sure. This is a real professional fucking outfit that we're running here.
So not only could we not fulfill the request within a timely manner, we have also fucked the name of the person who asked us for this.
First of all, we can never fulfill the request in a timely manner. That's extremely rare because unless we already have a beer or we're already planning on doing the movie, I don't know.
These just sound like excuses to me.
I'm full of excuses. I believe in my heart. So one of our followers on Instagram, a fellow by the name of Noah Hyman Pena or Hyman Pena. There's no little thing over the...
I'm stuck on the Hyman name rather than...
I thought it was Hype Man when I first read it.
Oh.
I read it as Noah Hype Man Pena, and I was like, yeah, shit, the Hype Man.
So, but
I'm sure this person requested something. And as far as... You've never heard that name until right now. You're looking at me with a look on your face like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, I don't know this... I don't know this person. No,
yeah.
Of course.
So I am 90% sure. No, that's way too high.
I am
40% sure that Noah Hyman Pena requested that we cover Night Beast. The reason it took so long, yes, we were trying to find a beer to pair it with. Funny story about that. I had 2 different beers called Night Shift from 2 different breweries. Both just stopped making the beer. One of them was like there for years, and I'm like, it's one of those, we'll have that, no problem. And then it's just gone. It's like, fuck, this is the worst possible timing. So it took us a little while, but we have a night-themed beer. What are we drinking tonight? Oh,
yeah, so finally made it happen. You'd think a night-themed beer would be easier, but it really isn't. Sometimes it's surprising what we can get our hands on. This one's called Nightfall. It's a Czech-style dark lager, and it's from the Avling Brewery in Toronto. We had a chance to go down there this summer and visit Avling, and they had a really cool space. Tons of different beers, excellent food.
yeah, the food was really good.
Yeah, they have a patio, too, that you can go out on, although I'm not sure if that's year-round. It might only be a summer thing. They had a couple wild ferment beers that were just like...
You love a funky ale.
Oh, so good.
Or was it an ale?
Yeah, they were funky ales. Yeah, absolutely. They were just hard to describe, so enjoyable. But yeah, all of the stuff I had from them. I had their IPA. I had a bunch of their pale ales. I think we even had some of their lagers, and the stuff they're making is incredible.
Yeah, I agree. I tried a pale ale for sure, and they do a lot of different styles of lager. So I had like a Vienna lager, and there was a Helles lager, and something. So again, lots of different styles. Here we're drinking a Czech style dark lager.
We don't drink a lot of dark lagers on here.
I think we've had 1 or 2. I actually drink a lot of dark lagers in my private time, in my personal life away from the podcast.
Yeah.
It's a style I've really grown to love over the last couple of years as they become kind of more common. And yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to this.
I think this is definitely a more traditional European style lager, right? And Here it says dense and layered aromas of toffee, pumpernickel, and a touch of cacao.
Hey now.
Balanced with rich flavors of coffee cake, toasted hazelnut, and a crisp and refreshing body.
I like all those things. Yeah.
It sounds excellent.
Also, dense and layered really ties into the plot of this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, man, I can't wait to talk about the Night Beast and to get into this Nightfall beer. You want to crack it open?
Absolutely. Let's go. And cheers, whoever requested this. We love you. So we open with some swirling wind sounds and laser blasts that announce the arrival of an amazing film production. Literally, that's the production company name. A Don Dohler film, Night Beast. That takes us into the opening credits, which are taking place in front of the worst, most shockingly low-budget flying through space background I've ever seen. It's just white circles moving towards the screen. This looks nothing like outer space. Now, the sequence we get right after this, on the other hand...
Some just straight out of Lucasfilms kind of stuff, right?
Goddamn industrial light and magic.
Exactly. Oh, my God. It took somebody a long time to build this miniature set that they do use for this space thing.
I disagree.
You don't think so?
I think it took a very short time.
I feel like they put some time into this. We get this shot of a spaceship. I'm going to use sort of air quotes in my tone here to describe that.
It's moving through space. It's a ship.
It's coming, but then all of a sudden we see what appears to be a, asteroid get into its way?
Something. And this causes it to veer off course and begin entering Earth's atmosphere. And it's like heating up, kind of. The colors changing.
We're getting some really interesting, but they're working hard on it, digital effects here. We're getting a lot of the attempts to turn this
fucking laser blasts. Those are digital effects. Someone's just penciling in fucking red lasers. Oh, God. Clearly, like, added to the film afterwards. And that's very apparent when we get into some of the laser fights later on in this movie. But Jesus. And yeah, it crashes down to a clearly miniature Earth landscape, which gives us our first and most unintentionally accurate line of dialogue.
What the hell was that?
Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
About the whole movie, yeah.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, or at least the crash of this thing. Now, once it does hit the ground, we do get quite the spectacular light show happening here. They put quite a bit of budget into their pyrotechnics.
Yeah, man, for sure. Between that and the alien creature who steps out of the spacecraft before it explodes, we are off to a truly unbelievable start with the special effects. But perhaps the greatest visual we get in our first 5 minutes is the hair and mustache combo on the local sheriff. Is this guy got a look or what?
He has this, like, ridiculous curly perm.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And the darkest mustache with the tail ends that extend well beyond his mouth and over his mouth that we really were questioning the authenticity
I don't
of.
think it's real. Yeah, you landed closer to the side of it being real by the end of this movie. I'm not so sure.
Mostly because of all the close-up kissing scenes where it stayed in its like place. They either glued it down really, really well, or in all of his making out, I thought that might have ended up in her mouth instead. But, you know.
Yeah, maybe. No, this guy's look has to be seen to be believed. It's really something. Just an unbelievable combination. So, like, I'm all in on this guy right away.
We got to get a picture of him definitely on the gram.
If I can find one,
yeah.
that'll be up for sure. But although the local authorities have now noticed and been made aware of this crash, they were not the first people to see it. There were some campers at the beginning. We heard from one of them with the what the hell earlier. And they have a head start and arrive at the site of the crash first. And although these guys are armed with rifles, they are no match for the alien and his awesome alien laser gun. Pew, pew. He disintegrates the first guy with more hilariously awful effects. And when his two friends find him, all that's left is like a chalk outline made of ashes, which almost caused me to do a spit take all over my laptop.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
I could not handle this.
Oh, man. Poor fucking Jerry. He's wakes up from camping or just sitting there by the fire at camping, sees this crash, goes to help, and immediately gets disintegrated by a laser ray. This is not what I expected at all.
Yeah, you hear Night Beast and you think like those creatures from The Village. Right? Something like that.
Yeah, those porcupine people who were just sort of menacing the young ones at the village. We know that wasn't actually real, but that would feel more like a night beast for sure.
Yeah, man. Well, this camper's friends who find him, they get disintegrated too. Only for them, we get like a dazzling glitter effect before they disappear, which that happens sometimes. This thing's disintegrating all kinds of stuff. Sometimes it's just like the red-orange heat thing and they're gone and they leave the fucking ash chalk outline. Other times, like this glittery, magical thing and they're just gone. But either way, it ends with the alien standing triumphantly above them. And it won't take long for us to find his next victims, as a car driven by Uncle Dave pulls off into the woods. The aforementioned uncle tells his two nephews that he'll be just a minute before stepping out of the car. And at this point, you and I were thinking the exact same thing.
He was going to go take it out in the woods.
What? No, man.
You thought he had enough of his niece and nephew here, and so he was going to go.
Two nephews. There's no niece. There's no niece and nephew. Two nephews.
Oh, I thought one was a girl.
No, I think they just had the long kind of 80s hair.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not. I don't know. I didn't get a close look at them, but I know. I thought this dude, there was something strange about this. First of all, why are you pulling your car off into the middle of the woods to just pee?
With your niece and nephew in the back?
Just do it at the side of the highway. What are you doing?
It was pretty sketchy. The whole Uncle Dave thing seemed weird.
Seemed a little too old, right?
Yeah.
To be their uncle?
It was uncomfortable. I wasn't sure why they were in the car with him.
Also, they don't really look like each other either. No. I don't necessarily believe that they're like brother and sister or brother and brother. I think they're just like two kids.
Oh, yeah. They just, So thankfully for them, their sort of capturer gets taken out first by the alien, right? So thankfully the kids are like, thank God we're free of that backseat.
Well, they jump out and prank him first, though.
Ah! Damn, what are you trying to do? Give me a heart attack? That's not very funny.
We get a little jump scare here after he does just pee. He does not do anything else. At least not yet. And as he's coming back to the car, well, you don't know what he's going to do. He's going to go back, whatever.
Yeah, I was hoping we were going to get a mid-pee disintegrate
Night of the Demon. We watched in season 1 where that guy is taking a piss and the fucking thing rips his
Sasquatch rips his dick off. Yeah, that could have been. Imagine this thing had just ripped his D off.
Yeah, Uncle Dave's Uncle D is just gone.
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah, man. But no, it doesn't happen. He pees, finishes, walking back to the car, and the two kids jump out at him. We hear the noise with a little jump scare. It's just them. But their hilarious prank becomes all too real when they spot the night beast behind him, and it fucking disintegrates Uncle Dave. Or does it kill him? Was it use a claws? I forget now.
Uncle Dave gets mauled. He gets killed by a big slash in the head from the night beast, and the kids run away before this happens. They don't quite see it, but what they do see is his corpse crashing on top of their car. We get an okay makeup shot here of a mauled head, and then they go running off into the night.
Yeah, they do. And before long, they spot a house kind of off to the side there. And because this is a horror movie that takes place in the early 80s, the people inside that house are definitely in the process of boning.
Well, I didn't know until we got there. It looked a bit run down. I was worried this house was going to be kind of scary. It kind of reminded me of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The one from okay.
So that's where mine went right away. But instead, we get two people making out on a couch. And holy shit, does the woman react quickly when she hears some footsteps approaching.
Yeah, I kind of felt bad for the guy here. This lady hears something. They're in the middle of the fucking woods. And he's like, it's probably just an animal. She's like, no, it's definitely not. Go check it out. But then, as he gets up to go, she's like, be careful. I'm like, you're the one fucking sending him out there.
Yeah, this was a little weird. This woman definitely had some second thoughts about this makeout if she was so quick to shut it down when she heard some footsteps, or she definitely was worried about who might walk in on them. I'm wondering if this is sort of an extramarital affair or something.
Uncle Dave is her husband?
Yeah, maybe.
And that's why he pulls the car into those woods? Oh, we're fucking writing a better movie right now.
Yeah, we got this.
No, so he goes to check it out, which means obviously that he's going to die. And while we probably both expected that, what I didn't expect was for this lady friend of his to attempt the record for the world's longest scream. She is just going and going and going before the alien pulls her through the screen door and slaughters her too.
Yeah, no, it is excruciating how long this scream takes. It's also excruciating how long they hold this out before the monster appears and actually kills it. We've already seen the monster. We've seen it get some kills. Do they really need that guy wandering around with a shotgun in the dark for 4 minutes?
So I don't think so either. You do need to build a little bit of tension, obviously. It can't just be he steps outside. He's that could be an effective jump scare at certain points. But I think, and this will come up later as we go through this, there's a lot of padding in this movie. And this thing's 80 minutes long with all that padding. And so I'm like, they're just dragging this thing out.
They're just trying to make it as long as they can. Yeah.
That's how I feel. So the kids witness all of this fucking murder and sprint back to the car where they frantically try and roll up the windows. What was a nice little bit of nostalgia for me. I like that. But the alien is right behind them, and he zaps the car with its gun, which causes the entire thing to disappear. So RIP kids, and this thing is just cranking up the kill count at this point, eh?
It's true. In terms of monster movies we've watched on here, this thing may take down more than most that we've watched. It's pretty impressive. So it's off into the woods. Who is headed out now to check on this crash?
Oh my God. Well, I mentioned cranking up the kill count. Right on cue, the sheriff pulls up with his makeshift posse, and that leads us into a massive laser fight. We get a pretty good makeup effect here, a better one, I thought, than on Uncle Dave, where one of the sheriff's guys, who, by the way, are just dropping like flies, he sneaks up on the alien's flank and hits it with a big tree branch. The alien just shrugs it off and swipes him with its claws. And as this guy falls to the ground, we see that his face has basically been taken half off. That's a nice little shot, I thought, too, as he kind of rolls into the frame with like the head kind of caved in.
Yeah, no, they do a really good job of the makeup on this one. And maybe just with the lighting and how they're able to set it up, the frame of him rolling in there, it looks quite realistic. This looks like someone whose face has been mauled half off.
Best one in the movie, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. This one may be the best. There were a couple other decent ones, and
a lot of indecent ones, yeah.
Absolutely. So we're in this shootout, and just all of the people who the sheriff has brought with him, the posse, along with one of his sheriff's deputies, are just getting blown away by this thing. We're getting all of these shots of people holding guns, and then the smoke effect, and then a separate hard cut over to the monster's face, and then a cut to some lasers zipping across, and then later smoke rising from the ground where we're supposed to think things are hitting. What we're seeing is it's not going well for the humans.
Oh, fuck no. They get wiped out pretty much. But despite losing a bunch of dudes, seeing his friend's head get crushed, and having to scramble off to get the hell out of there, the sheriff is still steely in his resolve.
Could you come over here as soon as possible? Bring your gun. We will get it.
That sounds good and all, but essentially the cops are just throwing their hands up and waiting till morning? He's like, oh, wait, later it'll be easier to see him. That's insanely irresponsible to me.
So only 3 people make it out of this fucking firefight, right?
Yep.
It's just the sheriff and his female deputy, Lisa.
Who was earlier dismissed by the male deputy who got wiped. Like, don't bring her. She's useless. And then, yeah, she survives and he doesn't. I like that.
Yeah, that was good. And then super citizen Jamie.
Fuck, this guy he's just the prince of the city. He's the prince of this town.
They don't give us any backstory on this guy, but he has somehow arrived and helping the police here, and the 3 of them escape, and Jamie's there to help them all the way along in their plan. What I thought was interesting, like you, is they're just going to wait till morning. They're just going to let this thing rummage around and take out whoever they can in the meantime. They're worried about it, but they don't yet call, I don't know, the state, or maybe the FBI, or maybe NASA, or I don't know. Wouldn't you think at this point, if you were a security professional, someone trying to keep your town safe, you would be calling in for some backup?
I would think that, yes, but instead what we get is like a serious version of the scene in Anchorman where he's there being like, wow, that escalated quickly. They go back to the police station and they're like drinking coffee being like, fuck.
That is true. We did get one of those moments where we're like, oh, how did that go down?
Maybe they were going to do what you said and notify somebody, but they get a call from a different deputy who spotted something like running out in front of his car. And so this causes the sheriff to spring back into action. And also, apparently it is morning now because we cut to him on site of this thing and it's just like the brightest day.
There's the end of the night beast.
Yeah, we're into the day beast now.
There's no more night beast. It's just day beast.
There's night beast again at the end.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we do revert back, I guess. But it is a strange title for this movie. And I don't know why they chose that one. But
we'll keep coming back to that. We'll be circling back around.
I have no idea. I don't even have a theory.
My only theory is, and this happens sometimes, maybe they had a title and whoever was going to put this thing out was like, it's not flashy enough. It's not sexy enough. It's not, let's call it this instead and we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
but that's all I got.
I don't know. It's strange, but you know what? They're going to go and they're going to check that out. But we also know that the sheriff needs his man. He needs Perkins.
Fuck yes. Well, this is. He mentions that before he leaves the station. He mentions some guy named Perkins, and this guy's going to be the key to taking this thing down. They go to where the creature was sighted, or something was sighted by this deputy's car. It's kind of like an old farmhouse. It's like in the middle of a field, and the sheriff senses the creature's presence and tells the lady deputy to follow his lead, to turn very slowly and like move with him. And they just fucking run. They just run away. This was not really the grand, intelligent design he made it out to be. And so the alien sees them and just starts lasering, and they kind of jump behind a wall in one of the most egregious examples of post-production laser in this whole thing. And that's where they are. They're under heavy fire until the secret weapon arrives.
The perk.
That's right. It's the legendary Phil Perkins, who, I don't know about you, I expected him for sure to be some like FBI government special ops type. But it's just some old farmer.
Yeah, who's good with a rifle.
Oh, well, apparently he's a fucking incredible shot.
He's a crack shot. Yeah, so they got him in there. Yeah, this whole section is strange, right? The setup of going to the farm, and then they have them do this runaway, and they run across a really long field and make the most pathetic leap over an old barn wall that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Then we have all the lasers start hitting it, and like you said, it's all post-produced, but we do have the sort of pyrotechnic smoke effects hitting the wall.
Okay, but hang on, though. No, that's an exaggeration. These lasers are flying by, and there is one little, like, small, like, poof that goes up in front of the wall on the ground. I fucking laugh because, like, it's just... The laser didn't even go there. Like, it's ridiculous.
No, it didn't connect at all. So they're hiding behind this wall. They're making this plan with Perkins. What's baffling to me is that they're involving so many civilians and putting them at risk here. And I mean, a civilian would help if there was this threat that they thought like needed to be taken care of, but they don't even leave from behind the wall. They send out the Perk and his son to go like shoot at this motherfucking thing, and they hide behind the wall.
No, they're giving them cover. Hang on a second. And you also failed to mention that while you and I may think this is a ridiculous plan, because Perkins, by the way, can fucking barely move. He's old as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
He's like Sigourney Weaver in The Village. Just fucking so old. I'm kidding. I love Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, my God.
But he's so confident. The sheriff's like, you think you can pull this off? And fucking Perkins' response is just,
you bet your ass I can do it.
I don't know. I believe him. He's fucking steely. He's this gritty old man. I don't know.
He gets his confidence from the sheriff, who seems to have the solution for everything. This guy is not afraid. He will like go balls to the wall with everything he does, and he tells everyone how to live their life here. It's hilarious.
For a while. For a while.
Okay,
he
all right.
seems to know. Seems is the right word.
It's funny.
But no, man. Fucking Perkins is all in on this. And maybe if, the whole town was like, you're the only guy that can do it, you'd fucking believe you can do it too. And he does manage to pull this off. It cost him his son, but, and that causes him to collapse to the ground where he bursts into tears, kind of.
Yeah. I mean,
horribly fake tears.
Collapse is a generous word. Him trying to take a knee before firing off this gun is one of the like slowest and most practiced things I've ever seen. It's terrible.
He's really easing down there.
Yeah, the tears are terrible.
You thought he was laughing.
It did. I thought he was laughing at his son's death. This is got to be one of the pieces that makes this a potential 10. Yeah. Right? Like the shootout effects have got to be one of the things that add into that possibility.
100%. And that's probably why someone requested that we cover it. Yeah. No, we don't get a lot of time to dwell on the aftermath of, we never see Perkins again. That's just it. He just showed up, lost a son. And we should mention, he shot the alien's gun. They have not killed the alien. He just disarmed it. He took away the amazing laser. There's no more disintegrations.
So all these kills now have to be hand to hand.
Yeah. So now we're gonna get more of what we all both expected in terms of the way this thing is gonna kill. But like I said, we don't dwell on that. We cut to a scene outside the mayor's pool where the gloriously haired sheriff tries to convince him to evacuate the town. Remember that scene in Jaws where Brody tries to convince the mayor to close the beaches? This is like the poorest man's version of that. It's a destitute man's version of that scene.
That's a fair comparison. You brought that up while we were watching, and I thought that was smart. It does seem like they're using that same kind of sentiment here where you've got a man of the law trying to get politicians to do the right things and protect people, but those politicians are more worried about getting reelected or making themselves some coin than doing that.
Yeah, man, the governor's coming to town, apparently. That's what this is.
We can't cancel the pool party I have set for the governor.
No, he's not going to bribe himself.
The house they chose for the mayor to live in and hold this amazing pool party was very pedestrian.
Listen, you and I have both not been to the town this movie was shot in. I have to assume it might be one of the nicer houses
This
in that
is the
town.
fancy house. I was like,
It had a
if you're-
pool,
if
an
you
in-ground pool.
if you're bringing the governor somewhere, aren't you expecting like this to be at quite a fancy or elaborate place? Most governors lived in like, I don't know, some kind of mansion, didn't they?
I would say yes, but at the same time, if your goal is bribe the governor, does it really matter where you are as long as there's booze and ladies?
I guess not, because he is definitely trying to set up a pussy trap here.
Well, that's we'll see that in a minute. But in an attempt to get more information, the sheriff brings a coroner out to investigate the site of that Perkins family shootout from a few minutes ago. And I have to say, if this coroner is looking for dead bodies, he should investigate himself. Thank God a certain local troublemaker rides up on his motorcycle at the end of this. At least he's bringing something to the table here, personality-wise, you know?
Yeah, he brings the old greaser vibe to this movie.
Yeah, man, Drago. That's his name.
His name is Drago. He rides up and he insults the law, of course, because he hates law and order, being a biker. Not a stereotypical depiction at all of someone who rides a motorcycle. The coroner is trash.
He's so fucking bad.
Is he the worst actor in this movie?
It's so hard for me to answer that. There's a lot of bad actors in
I
this
know.
movie.
This is why I'm putting you on the spot here, because he has a lot of screen time. We might be able to say he is the actor with the most screen time and the least...
the least deserving?
Yeah.
Well, so here's the thing. I'm thinking about your question now. He's really bad.
Mm-hmm.
But what is worse? Someone who is like monotone and bad at emoting, or someone who attempts to emote and just like goes way too far? Because we get a lot of those in this.
For my enjoyability, the latter is better, though. I'd rather have people emoting going way too far.
But if you had to gauge bad acting, is it worse to be like quiet and bad or loud and bad?
Probably loud and bad is worse. So there's probably some other people in this who might take the cake, like the mayor.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a toss up for me for sure. But yes, Drago is like the town greaser, which really confused me because this portrayal of biker life seemed a little dated. Like, if it wasn't for all the ambient synth we're hearing, I'd swear this was taking place in the 1950s. For real.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the clothing and hair puts you spot on in the 80s, other than Drago's, who definitely feels 50s. But
I don't think the clothing does. A lot of them are dressed like farmers. There's so much fucking flannel. We talked about this while we were watching it, too.
there are Canadian tuxedos everywhere.
Denim? Is there denim?
No, flannel is often considered that, too.
No. Denim is the Canadian tuxedo.
Well, yeah,
my
when
friend.
you wear the full denim, that's the
Chuck
Canadian
Norris
tux.
was wearing the Canadian tuxedo in fucking Invasion USA.
Yeah,
so.
that's true.
I don't know. Anyway, we get into a weird side plot here where Drago's girlfriend is going to leave him. Maybe she is his ex-girlfriend. She won't get back together with him. It's one or the other. And he roughs her up. And then the cops come, I think. Then they leave. Then Drago roughs her up again and ends up killing her. And I just remember thinking that I have no idea why this scene is in here, besides maybe the nudity.
Yeah, I think they were trying to build up more of the Jamie character, the one civilian who survived that attack, because he seemed to be dating her after Drago.
Yeah.
And they were trying to build some motivation for him to like want revenge against Drago. They needed someone that can take out the alien and Drago. Our real hero, I thought it was going to be the sheriff, but it seems to be building up to this Jamie guy.
Absolutely.
He doesn't care if this woman used to be the biker's like ex-lady. He's willing to be with her and help her set her life straight. What confused me was he was like, we need to get out of here. This thing's killing everyone. And then they leave her.
And she gets killed.
Yeah.
Irony?
Like, why didn't they just wait for her to get her stuff packed?
Because she's in the process of leaving. Yeah, that's a great point.
I didn't understand at all why they left. I know they had to go see the mayor to break up his party with the governor, but it seems strange to me that they chose to do that.
Kind of dings his hero credentials a little bit now that I think about it. It's so weird. I like your theory, though. I had no clue I was here. Maybe it is just he needs another kind of, like, for lack of a better term, dragon to slay before he puts the alien down.
I think so. You were just building him up.
Okay. Well, that one maybe you can explain, but I'm not sure if you can explain why the next scene is totally necessary. It's the pool party at the mayor's house where the governor is getting plied with alcohol and ladies to get him to invest in the town's infrastructure or something. And the sheriff is pissed that this is happening when he finds out. He comes there and argues with the mayor about it for a little while, but it is the recently deputized citizen Jamie who steps up to shut this thing down when he fires his gun into the air and tells everyone there's a poison gas leak from the mine. Now it's the governor who's pissed, and as he leaves, he essentially tells the mayor he's through.
So that's why the streets were deserted. You lied to me, you son of a bitch. You knew about this all along. Believe me, you're going to regret this.
And this, for me, total padding.
You're right. I think it's either trying to extend the length of the film or really increase the bathing suit quota. Like, I think they're feeling, like you had suggested earlier, it seems like there is a pattern here that a lot of those padding scenes are ones we don't understand are so that they can work in some ladies that are naked or in, like, states of undress.
Just so there's some sexual stuff for the men watching instead of all the ladies who are there for the sheriff?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Jamie is the more handsome one of the two, so I can see why they went with him. Oh, yeah, certainly.
Can he grow a mustache, though?
No. He's clean shaven.
Can he get a perm?
Oh, well, everyone can get a perm.
If I could look like one of the two of them, I think I'd choose the sheriff, if I'm being honest. Yeah. At least you'd be interesting. I don't know. No. From here, we cut to a local clinic where a doctor is seeing patients alongside that wooden fucking coroner from earlier. This, though, is all basically meant to set up more alien kills, as some guy heads to his car to get some whiskey for his friend and gets his arm chopped off. And by his arm, I mean a clearly fake arm that is definitely not the same skin color as his, but even still, I really enjoyed this part.
We both laughed out loud.
Yeah, man.
It was really funny.
It's a fake-ass arm.
But yeah, this is definitely just a chance for them to flex their murder muscles here. They really want to get some more prosthetic work in, and they want to add to the body count of the monster. The female coroner, who I think is in the running for equally terrible actor to the Steven. I think both
She's
coroners.
bad. Yeah.
I think she may be worse.
She's a doctor, isn't she? I don't think she's a coroner, but yeah, she is real fucking bad also.
Yeah. So both of the white coats are pretty terrible in this. They see this kill happen, and they see the other two friends of the guy whose arm got chopped off also get taken down. These are less gruesome than some of the others, right? We don't see any big slashings. It's almost like they fall over and they're just dead. We don't get as much in this.
Yeah, there's no limbs flying off of them.
I think it was a wasted opportunity. Like, if you're trying to add to the body count here, you're trying to make this interesting, you should have used all of the people you're slaying here.
Counter argument, if you show that every time, does it lose its effectiveness?
Possibly, I guess, but as someone who is watching it now, I want as many hilarious and terrible fake limbs flying off these people as fucking possible.
I'm glad you said that. We're going to watch a movie later on this season that we're going to put this to the test.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm very curious that you that. Yeah,
all right.
So, you're right. They witnessed this carnage, and now terrified for their lives, the doctor and coroner call the police station, and Citizen Jamie takes the call. Before you know it, he's racing over on his motorcycle, while the coroner tries to kill the alien with science. And let's give them some credit here. He rips a wire open with his bare hands, but they clearly show that the washing machine he pulled it from is unplugged while he's doing it. And I don't know about you, but considering the quality of script, acting, and special effects we're dealing with here, I was thoroughly surprised by that attention to detail.
I thought they were going to fuck it up. We were watching.
You thought they had fucked it up.
Yeah, we were watching it, and I was calling out like, "Oh, this is gonna go real bad. They're gonna fuck up the continuity."
He should be dead.
Yeah, exactly. He's tearing apart this wire with his hands, and I'm like, "Why isn't he electrocuting right now?" And then they clearly show that it wasn't plugged in. So
yeah, shut you up.
Yeah, they did a good job there. Despite his terrible woodenness, this guy does do a good job with science, and they shock the monster. But does it kill it? Is it done? They've won? The movie's over?
No, it staggers it. It's kind of stumbling around and stuff, but it is definitely not dead.
It just decides to run away.
Well, yeah, it's been hurt,
I guess. So, yeah, it runs up the stairs of the coroner's house or the doctor's house and then
back out to freedom.
Back out there to look for some more victims and sort of, like, I don't know, clean up its wounds in the woods.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I was praising the attention to detail in that last scene, but that quickly goes out the window in a second, because after some guys bringing the body of Drago's ex-girlfriend to the clinic, I say bring, but I should have said they dragged her body in. They are just doing a terrible job of supporting her head and neck here. It sends Citizen Jamie into a frenzy because, as you mentioned, he is also dating her, or has been dating her since whatever. So he races off to find Drago, and they go directly into a very long fist fight. And there is 100% a punch here where Jamie swings one way and Drago's head goes in the other direction. How the hell did that get through the editing?
Oh my goodness. Well, this is a pretty extended fight. The pace of it is kind of fun. Like, there's not even an argument first. They just start punching each other and rolling around on the ground. That punch was egregious, the one you described, but there are so many where they're clearly punching the ground beside each other's head and not actually hitting.
Yeah.
You know, it's really rough. We get to a point where Jamie has taken a big beating, but also seems to have the upper hand here, and he's just continuously smashing Drago's head into the ground. But does he kill him? Does he finish him off here?
No, fuck no, of course not. As the triumphant music, which has been taking place in this whole scene, soars, he backs off because he's not going to fucking kill the guy. But what was strange to me was he also doesn't, like, arrest him. He just leaves him there.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know if he thinks he's bested him and we'll never see him again, or...
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I was wrong, as it turns out, but I've been wrong about a lot of things in the last little while.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, man. So, the sheriff and his lady deputy, meanwhile, they find the creature again, and they shoot at it again, which doesn't work again. So they run away again. But this time, the sheriff slips and falls down a very small crevasse, which causes him to injure his leg. That means his lady deputy's got to help patch him up, and that means she'll have to take his pants off.
Hey, wait a minute. What are you doing?
I've got to see the injury if I'm going to patch it up.
Yeah, I know, but
Are you embarrassed, Jack?
No, of course not.
Man, he did not do a good job of selling that one, huh?
Oh, my goodness. I think he was probably just a little bit ashamed of the tighty whities he was wearing. He had straight old school tighty whities on here.
Never a good look.
Now... we had that shootout again, and it is so repetitive, right? We keep getting those same shots, and it's kind of funny. I thought it was hilarious, though, that he is like, please take me to the doctor's, and she's like, no, we can go back to my house. She had this in mind all along.
Oh, fuck yeah, she's making her move, man, and she brings it all home with the old I'm just going to take a shower excuse to get naked, man. And this, of course, all leads to them banging. And it is kind of weirdly tender, but also just weird. And again, while I'm sure you were just zeroed in the boobs, I was trying to see if his mustache was going to come off while they were kissing, but it does not. So maybe it's not fake. I don't know.
Yeah, the kissing seems fairly real.
Way better than Ninja in the Closet of the CIA with our fucking
so
first episode.
much
That
better.
guy can't kiss for shit.
No, this guy knows how to plant a kiss. Some of them, I was worried that they didn't come up for air because they were down so long.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. You
They're
guys
padding this movie with long kisses.
Yeah, they have good breath control for sure. I was impressed. They both get completely naked, and there's lots of shots of them, and we don't see any genitals, but we get what is a surprising amount of body shown from both of them, and a lot of grabbing of both of them of each other's flesh in, like, I don't know. It was weird. There was a lot of holding on to skin in it too. It was just they were trying to make it very erotic.
Weirdly tender. I described it as weirdly tender.
Yeah, and it was. They kind of pull it off here. In many ways, this scene is believable for sure.
I kind of agree, which is some of the most praise I'm going to give this movie as we go through here.
So it's funny that the sex scene is the most believable in this entire motherfucker.
I mean, it was the best scene in Champagne and Bullets. What are we doing here?
Oh, by a hot mile. But that one wasn't believable because...
wasn't believable at all. No, not even a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Meanwhile, back at the mayor's house, the governor's displeasure has hit the mayor and his girlfriend hard, but not as hard as all the alcohol they're crushing. And as they sit on the couch drunkenly swiping at each other, the sound of a knock at the door seems to signal the arrival of trouble. And it's trouble, all right, at least if you like actors with a pulse, because here comes the coroner, there to check on them at the sheriff's request.
He is such a fucking fun sponge.
Yeah.
He gets there and immediately sucks all of the fun out of this scene. The character, the sort of secretary character, is doing a good job of carrying this party of two gone. Her boss is passed out, but she's still trying to keep the fun alive. She even invites the coroner to sit down beside her and get this party going. She gives him a bit of the eyes, and instead of jumping at that opportunity, which it looks like he needs based on how tight his collar is, he calls the sheriff to come pick them up. He does just escape in the nick of time before the night beast shows up.
Yeah, man, that was infuriating. And the beast comes in. I agree with you, by the way, about the mayor's. I didn't realize she was the secretary. I thought she was just like his girlfriend or whatever. Of course he's dipping his pen in the company. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Mary Jane is there just more for her looks and or body than she is for her secretarial skills.
I'm there for her. I like that performance by her. Nice job in the role. But it will not spare her from the alien. The alien arrives, like you said. And she like opens a door to something, and there he fucking is.
This was really confusing because She goes downstairs to go look around, thinking Steve is down there. She wants to keep the party going. She opens a door into a storage closet.
Pantry, I think, yeah.
Yeah, and there is the night creature. Like, why did it crawl down in the basement instead of just walking through the house and murdering them there? It's not trying to set up hidden kills. It's not thinking about that. It just wants to destroy all of the humans that are in this town.
Yeah, it has no need for camouflage.
No.
Although it was just hurt by the electricity, so maybe it does feel a little vulnerable. I don't fucking know.
Stop making excuses for this goddamn
All I know is this. After the alien murders the mayor and the mayor's girlfriend and the mayor's rubber stunt head.
Holy shit. No, you can't go over this so quickly. So Mary Jane gets sliced down the front, and unfortunately they mess up her beautiful bosoms, as you've described. But the mayor finds her laying on the ground, and it grabs the mayor by the throat. It puts one of its sharp thumbs with its nail through his neck, and we get a kind of fun shot for a second of the mayor, the actor, and then we transition to a shot of the worst prosthetic head possible.
Yeah, it's real fucking bad.
A high school student made this, right? Like, this was their makeup class head that they've created. It slowly gets pulled off of its body, and we
stationary the whole time. No facial movement at all. Just because it's they don't have that
mouth
capability.
open, eyes bulging, terrible prosthetic, pops off his head, drops it on the floor, and we get that blood. This is one of the worst, if not the worst, makeup spot in this entire film.
We both had a very loud verbal reaction to seeing this, but I want to give them a tiny, the tiniest bit of credit. It looks better than if it was made out of paper mache. It's more realistic than a paper mache head would have been.
Yeah, that's true.
And we both know there are movies where they're using paper mache stuff. So
it's not the worst effect I've seen in a movie, but
it's up there.
It's the worst in this movie.
Yeah.
Right? And
to be clear, it's still really up there in the worst effects ever.
And the fact that they're cutting between the live actor and this head, it extended the amount of time I had to see this terrible prosthetic and made it feel less believable.
They're not hiding it. It's a very close-up shot of it.
They were proud of this motherfucker.
I mean, again, better than paper mache. That's all I'm going to say. So the sheriff shows up at the house and finds the bodies. And with 2 more dead, he's got to find a way to take out this creature once and for all. Luckily for him, he works with Citizen Jamie, who with every passing scene just becomes more and more clearly the hero of this movie. Jamie's got a plan that involves finding a giant electrical coil to fry the alien with thousands of volts. And there's only one thing that could stop them. A maniacal Drago out for revenge. Wait, what?
Yeah, I did not see this coming.
No, same.
So they head off from the police station. They head over to where they know they can get an electrical coil. And they're working to get themselves into this. Well, Drago shows up out of nowhere and jumps on Deputy Lisa. He knocks her over, tears open her shirt a little bit, and starts choking her out. He really has a thing for suffocating ladies.
Yeah, apparently that's his thing now, just murdering women. I don't know.
Yeah, it's strange.
Weird turn.
She fights him off enough to alert the others that there's a problem. And then so Sheriff heads on over there, gun drawn. And he's going to demolish Drago, right?
No, he's not. Because we've reached the part in the movie where he cedes all authority to Citizen Jamie. That's what this is. You did not mention, but the way she gets free from Drago, she knees him in the dick.
Yeah.
Which that gets the attention of the sheriff, who takes a turn getting overpowered by Drago as well, which gets the attention of Citizen Jamie, who shoots Drago in the chest. And I'll tell you what got my attention in this scene, Drago's death acting. And the Oscar goes to...
Oh my goodness. What is this guy's name?
Right? Yeah. I don't fucking know. We're never going to know.
Crap. So,
no one should know.
Yeah. I laughed so hard at this death sequence.
Yeah, it's really bad, man.
He's mouth open, making the most giant expressions possible as he slowly falls down to the ground and rolls around as life leaves him. The hole in his chest would have ended him immediately. There would have been no rolling around. This shotgun that blows through him leaves like a fist-sized hole through his body. He
and dead center mass. You would have thought old Phil Perkins shot him. It's a fucking bullseye.
Yeah. No, that would have been through the eye, and it would have been clean, yeah.
There was a line here I like, too, where after Jamie kills fucking Drago and they're all kind of getting their lives back together, the sheriff kind of helps the lady up, and he's like...
You're really paying your dues today, huh?
And I was like, because she slept with him? Is that what?
She's been through the ringer,
She's putting in work.
Yeah, she went, she repaired his leg, blew him, and then banged him. And now she's taken a rough go from Drago, almost died, kneed a guy in the balls, seen the guy who just f***ed her get overpowered, and watched Citizen
Totally
Jamie.
emasculated.
Yeah, exactly. Watch Citizen Jamie end the day here. And now all I can wonder is she really pining for Jamie?
Well, if she is, she's shit out of luck in a few minutes. Spoiler alert. That's all I'm going to say here. We'll get to that, though. Drago's dead, and they've got that big coil, so all that's left to do is set it up and lure the alien into the kill zone. They get the trap set, but in the course of trying to get the alien there, the coroner finally eats it, thank goodness. So does some other random guy who I'm 90% sure we had never seen before. Although, again, everyone in this town wears so much fucking flannel, I can't tell who anyone is.
Yeah, no, he seemed random. The only thing I could think is that this guy had a bigger backstory, but they had to cut it all out because, I don't know, maybe his acting wasn't good enough.
Not good enough to make the cut in this movie? Yeah.
Yeah,
You think there's a 90-minute version out there? There's 10 minutes of him on the cutting room
I think
floor?
so.
Like,
I think they have some character building for Captain Flannel here, and it doesn't work out. We lose him. We lose the coroner. The only ones we have left now are the doctor, Lisa, the sheriff, and Jamie, who we know is there captaining this trap. What's going to happen?
Well, this is it. This is the end of the film. We're at the end here. The alien is finally in position, and as the sheriff and lady deputy continually shoot at it, which at this point can only be considered a distraction, they've literally shot this thing hundreds of times, and it's done absolutely nothing. Citizen Jamie notices that the electrical cables have come loose, and knowing this is their only shot, bravely sacrifices himself by pulling them tight just as that old doctor lady flips the switch. And although he dies a hero. A hero whose head kind of looks like a baked potato with eyes, but a hero nonetheless.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So he knows right now that the only way to take down this monster is if he holds onto those wires while it gets flipped. He even calls for the flick on. Like the doctor sets it off at his command. He knows he's going to die. We get a little bit of a plea from Jack, not a convincing one from the sheriff for him to not do this. The sheriff knows that this needs to happen.
Yeah,
too.
he wants Jamie to die so he can keep that lady going.
Exactly. He's worried that Jamie's going to still Lisa, so he lets this happen. Actually, I think what happened was Jack yells out before Jamie can release the wires, hit the switch. She's just trying to get it out. Jamie did not want to get burned down, but the sheriff wanted him out of there. But no,
shit.
Unfortunately not. Jamie was the true hero here. He did call for it to get switched, even though he knew he was going to die. This transition from him as a handsome human to a toasty potato, as you described it, is too fast.
Oh my God, they can't possibly be that fast in real life, right?
I don't think so. The eye bulge is also kind of spectacular. I think they would have melted out, not just got really big, but
It's the one part of his body that's still intact.
Yeah,
everything else is charred, but his eyeballs are fine, just slightly bigger and bulgy.
Yeah, it's pretty rough here. So unfortunately, we've lost the hero of our movie, Jamie, but he did it in a way that we have killed the night beast.
Yeah, what do you think of those effects? Is this thing gets electrocuted and it just explodes? I think I saw the head go rolling. Or something.
It had the same light as many of the others. It was that weird pyrotechnic where they're using fireworks with light rather than flame to show most of these explosions.
Yeah,
it's interesting. That must have been the technology they had
budget.
at the time and budget.
Something, yeah,
but yeah, it wasn't as spectacular as you'd kind of hope for. It would have been nice to have more viscera everywhere or see some of that, but it's gone. The night creature's gone. The town is saved again. Baltimore is back to normal, and we see
it's not in Baltimore proper. I wish it had been. That'd be amazing.
But we see the sheriff and his deputy and bed partner holding each other as the camera pans up into the sky.
Yeah, and that's it. We get our credits. Night Beast.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a great word to end this. Wow is right. I think it's just a great request. Honestly, this was a very fitting movie. We both were I think we're 10 minutes in. We're yeah, good job by whoever this was.
This is the kind of movie that fits perfectly on the podcast, right?
Our last few requests, they've been strong. Whoever's sending these in, people have been listening clearly and yeah, it's right up our alley.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate all of our listeners. Absolutely. But we can tell when there's someone who really sort of gets the kind of things we are looking to watch, and this is definitely one of them. So despite not actually knowing who you are, know that you mean something to us because you get us and what we're trying to do here, and we appreciate you.
Noah Hyman Penna, hopefully. I don't know. We'll see. I think we should just go into ratings here because we're talking about things we liked and didn't like and our overall feeling of the movie. So the way we always do this, we rate the movie on a scale of 1 to 10 two times, 1 to 10 for how bad it is, 1 to 10 for how enjoyable, and the goal is to find movies that are a 10 out of 10 on both scales, or what we call the Crit 20. I'll just start by saying I think this is definitely a 10 bad in terms of production quality. The script is at times confusing. There are scenes that are just flagrant padding, in my opinion. The acting is such a low caliber, like across the board. I should say we both kind of thought there's a scene where the mayor's secretary lady, when she's drunk and she's kind of stumbling around, we both thought she was doing a really good job of acting drunk. But beyond that, there is just not a lot going on here. So that's terrible. The special effects quality, there was that one that we thought was like pretty good where the dude's face was like half gone. That was a nice one. And the shot where he kind of rolls into frame. But that to me feels like a broken clock is right twice a day thing. You know what I mean? Like you do enough attempts at special effects, one of them is probably going to turn out good. So I'm going to go with the 10. We didn't spend a lot of time talking about the actual Night Beast and like the creature effects. The head is this rubber, fairly stationary mask with teeth that don't look like they're actual sharp teeth. They look like they're rubber extensions of the mask. And it looks so but like, goddamn, it's a low budget sci-fi kind of horror thing. And I dig it. We'll get to the enjoyment in a second. But I can't sit here with the straight face and say this is less than a 10 for how bad this is in terms of production. You're agreeing with me, right?
Yeah, it is absolutely a 10. I'm not going to go anywhere else. I agree. I think the script, the acting, the effects, all of the lasers and the sounds that went with lasers, plus the visuals, plus the ridiculous use of pyrotechnics all the time, add to the 10 bad for me. The monster is a lot, and it doesn't seem like a night beast. It is a very stiff mask that is on somebody. There's no expression. It's not particularly menacing. The costuming was hilarious that it had that spacesuit. Very old school thinking of what an alien would wear, right? Like just a tinfoil outfit almost. It felt like something out of the 60s and 70s or old like monster alien kind of things.
Okay, but I have to ask again, is it possible this movie like takes place in the 50s? What is there in this movie that tells us we're in the 80s? Because the soundtrack's not ambient. It's just in the background.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's a good question. Maybe it's supposed to take place back then, and Drago would make more sense if that were the case, right? But
you know what I bet? I bet if anyone's like a car person or like a motorcycle enthusiast, and they're like, "Nah, that car was made in like 1978."
Oh, well, there was
that would be
clearly 80s vehicles in this.
Oh, were they?
Right? Like
okay.
70s, 80s. Like the cop cars were all 70s and 80s. They didn't put old school vehicles.
Yeah. They're not rolling up in a fucking Duesenberg, if that's what you're saying. But what are we doing here?
All right, so we agree.
So
we agree
10,
it's a 10 bad.
How enjoyable, though, did you find this on a scale of 1 to 10?
It's interesting because I was thinking about the things I enjoyed, and they're much of the same list, right? This is one of those movies that you get the enjoyment because it's so bad, right? Because some of the stuff... the special effects, particularly the laser that would hit people and turn them into shit, was extremely laughable.
Yeah.
The jump scares were terrible. Some of the bad acting was awful. The fact that this Jamie character was a citizen that came out of nowhere to like win the day was pretty hilarious.
You had a real problem with the amount of citizens whose lives are being put in danger.
For no reason.
Yeah.
Like they're just like coming out here. And,
well, that's not proper procedure.
Yeah, what is happening here? Yeah, I had trouble with that. That was throwing me for a loop.
Yeah.
Some of the makeup effects were quite effective, and some were terrible, and both of those things added to my enjoyment. This didn't quite get there for me for the Crit 20. I had it as an 8 enjoyable. I enjoyed watching it. I thought it was fun. But there was something about it that didn't have quite the... It took itself almost a little too seriously. Like if it made fun of itself a little more, or it just took some choices that were more ridiculous or outside of where they went with this, I think I would have been much closer to that Crit 20. But I guess an 18 is still quite close. It was still one of those things that I really enjoyed watching, and want to thank whoever suggested it to us for that sort of recommendation.
All right, so this is kind of funny because we have the exact same rating again. I also had this as Nate enjoyable, and it's for the exact same reason. And when you're talking about taking itself too seriously, so my first thought when you said that was like a ridiculous kill. You know how like we watch Hard Ticket to Hawaii and that fucking dude eats it because of like the frisbee with the shit or the rocket launcher when the thing's in the air, like something like that.
Yeah,
that just like lets you know, okay, we're having fun here. Like we're not trying to tell you this is a real. Like that would have done it for me. So like yourself, I really enjoyed watching this. We both laughed several times. I enjoyed a lot of things in it. Those fucking ash remains of humans in the shape of a human. The fucking reverse chalk outline. Fucking the first one, I like legit popped. I almost ruined my laptop.
Yeah, it was close.
Fucking spitting. I had just taken a big swig of beer and I was gonna let it fly because that fucking came out of nowhere. The sheriff's hair and mustache alone got this past a 7 for me. Like honestly, really an enjoyable time. But like yourself, I can't go all the way with it. Still a great recommendation. Really glad that we watched Night Beast. How did you feel about the beer?
I enjoyed it. It was definitely full flavor. It was still refreshing though. It was interesting because it was very, very dark. Like it felt like stout porter level color, but not the same, I think sort of richness of flavor. It did have a depth of flavor though. There were layers as I described, and I enjoyed drinking it. It's not something I would drink a lot of in a sitting. Like I'm happy to have one and then change to a different style, I think. But I did like it. All the beers I've had from Avling have been excellent.
Yeah, we mentioned it at the top of the show. And this, like to me, I agree with you, very dark. It's a dark ass lager. I agree it's not quite stout porter flavor, but I kind of feel like it's almost in the ballpark. I would really like to have this with food.
Yeah, I could see that too. It would be, it'd be a good like.
This could really accentuate the flavor of something. Pork, maybe? I don't know, like a pork chop. This could be good with,
I think that would be good too. It almost be a good end of meal beer too, though. I almost feel like this one would be good with dessert.
Lead you into dessert? Okay, yeah. I can see that. I would. I kind of wish I had more cans of this now, and I could pair it with some food because I would love to give it a shot. But agree totally on Avling. That was kind of a spur of the moment. That wasn't actually on our, like, we made an itinerary of places we were going to stop in Toronto. Kind of a spur of the moment decision, but I'm glad we went there because that was, very tasty, and everything I had from them was good. Highly recommend Avling in the Toronto area. So 2 weeks from now, things are going to get weird because we're going to be talking a little movie called Beyond the Valley of the Dolls.
Is it a horror movie?
It sounds like it should be, right? With like some evil dolls that are no, man. It's so Valley of the Dolls was a movie from like the late 60s set in New York with like these 3 women who are trying to like, I guess, start careers, but also like they're dating and there's like a bit of a sexual revolution thing in there, I think. But Beyond the Valley of the Dolls is it was supposed to be, but what I was about to say is Beyond the Valley of the Dolls is like very sexual. It's like more about like the hippie culture, and it's directed by legendary breast enthusiast Russ Meyer. So you and him are going to have a lot in common probably here. We'll enjoy that.
Oh no! So we're basically watching a softcore porn, is what you're saying?
No, it's not. It's not a softcore porn. It's just there's going to be plenty of shots of chesty ladies. A good way to get ready for the holiday season before we do our Christmas episode. It'll be something interesting. It's gonna be a very different movie than we've kind of done before. Like there's musical elements, there's cultural elements. Again, there's like a hippie thing here. There's some sexual revolution stuff. It's gonna be kind of an over the top, big, bright, colorful snapshot of an era that maybe existed or maybe didn't. A lot of stuff in there for us to talk about, I'm sure. And that's what it's going to be. And there'll be big boobs. So you're welcome.
I was just about to say I'm looking forward to it, but now that you've dropped the big boobs as the ending, I don't know if I want to build on the reputation you are putting out there for me.
How's this reputation? Noted film critic Gene Siskel gave the film 0 stars out of 4.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. So, okay. I mean, I'm not interested in seeing where this takes us. I think it'll give us a lot to talk about. You get to make fun of me a whole bunch, and I look forward to that.
It's going to be something. It's going to be a voyage, and, come along with us before the holidays. And then for our Christmas episode, we'll be covering something a little more modern and relatable, I guess. But yeah, that'll be 2 weeks from now, Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. Before then, if you haven't already, please follow us on social media at the BMB Podcast on Twitter and Instagram.
Keep sending us emails, thebmbpodcast@gmail.com.
Absolutely. We always love to hear from you, and we'll be keeping the episodes coming from now until June. So if you have requests, there's still time to slip one or two in there, and we may actually remember who you are if you do it.
No promises, though.
No promises, clearly. I want to thank again whoever requested this. I still think it's Noah Hyman Penna. We'll see. I don't know, Pena, whatever.
Let us know if this was yours, please.
Yeah, reach out to us so we can say thank you, because we really appreciated this request and had a very good time. And thank you for joining us today for Night Beast. We'll hope you join us in 2 weeks for Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. Until then, I'm Cooper.
And I'm Nolan.
And we'll see you next time on Bad Movies and Beer.
Keep shooting for the stars.
That's a great one, man. If you have guts, he wants them.